Unsigned518. I'm here with Keegan James. How's it going?
It's going. I'm alive. That's how it's going.
And this is the first ever interview for the podcast that I've done that's not in the Dazzle Den. We are actually in my living room.
It's very cozy
because it was fucking cold in the den, man.
So cold.
It was like really cold in the den because after all, it is a garage, and like I was like, oh man, I gotta get it ready. I gotta get ready. Keegan's coming over. And then I was like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm like, we're just gonna do it in the living room. There's a wood stove. I'll make us some lattes.
It is. It's very much. It's very much like I'm Drew Barrymore's show. I feel lots of lights, some coffee, some mugs.
Yeah, and it was just simply because it was goddamn cold in the Dazzle Den, and I was like, we are not doing that. It was -14 here this morning.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have that wind from the river coming up the hill.
Yeah. It gets windy. It gets like super cold. And I fucking hate it. I'm done with winter.
I'm ready for it all to melt.
Yeah, me too. But we're not here to talk about and it's,
coming from meteorologists.
Yeah. But we're here to talk about your music. You have a new album coming out. There's shows coming up. There's actually, I mean, the first time you were on the show was less than a year ago, wasn't it?
Was it? This whole year has been. I was just having a conversation where I was like, I truly, after August, it felt like the year reset. I don't know what happened this year.
A lot. You did a lot. Like compared, like when you first came on the show, and again, I may be wrong, but it's about a year ago. Like it was
Probably.
like you were like just starting to kind of make things happen, and now you've made all that shit happen in like 1 year, and now we're here to talk about, your album, and I want to hear basically what's been going on.
Oh boy. So much. I feel very grateful to have gotten so many opportunities since the last time we chatted. I got to perform at Collar City Pride, and oh goodness, I've done many shows with No One You Know Presents and Shannon Taya. And there's just such a wonderful community that's being built here, and I feel very grateful to be a part of it and to be here.
That is true. Like the community aspect of it, and especially with like No One You Know, and you and Shannon and Nocturne, and Sydney Worthley and Katie Gallagher, and like just like it's building.
It is building, and it's building quickly.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw Nocturne's viral TikTok about Indie Whims, and the response that got. Indie Whims is our event that we're doing on the 13th. I just didn't realize how many people would be interested in entering the room with us. It was really surreal to get that response.
I think, people definitely want to enter the room and hang out with you, and I think it's because
I'm crazy.
Yeah, a little bit, but like nobody wants to hang out with someone who's boring and not confident. You know what I mean? Like your confidence is what attracts people to you. Because like, again, if someone's like, "Oh, I hate myself," be like, "Well, you know more than I."
Too, so I'm gonna
right. But be like, "Well, you know yourself better than anybody, and
Yeah.
if you don't like yourself, then I don't know if I want to spend my time with you." You know what I mean?
People love authenticity. And it's a very special thing to work on.
And, we were talking before we got rolling. You were saying something about like how at some of your shows, like you'll forget like some lyrics, or you'll be like, "Oh, that was terrible," or you'll hear it back and be like, but everybody's always giving you positive, because that's part of it. It's not. No one fucking wants perfection.
Yeah.
And I've been in bands where people like strove for that perfect, and I'm like, dude, we're playing fucking cover songs in a dive bar. Like we don't need to be
takes
perfect.
the fun out of it.
It does. Like part of the performance is imperfections.
Yeah.
Like if everything was perfect every time, why would I even bother?
Yeah. And you got to play around
show?
with things too, and especially with the music, even talking to the crowd, you got to play around with things, find out what works, what feels good, what doesn't.
And it'll change the dynamic.
Yeah.
Like you can change the dynamic with 2 or 3 words.
Yeah.
And have an experience that you as a performer have never had before.
Yeah.
And it like, I don't know. There's something about the whole scene of that, is being created that is authentic.
Yeah.
It's not auto-tune driven, and
Yeah.
it's just like it's people doing
Even the
art.
stuff that is like, when it comes to the music itself, the stuff that is like produced and not acoustic, it's still very down to earth. Like
And
I don't feel like I'm listening to, like, no hate, but like when like regular pop music that is super synthesized, like we have synthesized music, I do synthesized music too, but I feel like all of us really strive to keep that core honesty in there.
right. And I mean, I don't, nothing really against like technology or even autotune. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
I
love a good algorithm.
there's autotune
mastering
in
processor.
like all of our music. Like, there's vocal touch-ups.
Yeah,
There's
I so
auto-tune.
do pitch
Absolutely.
corrections.
And like, there's nothing wrong with that. It's when that becomes the thing that it's a problem. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, if you're using it to enhance your talent, that's all fine and good. If you're trying to hide the fact that you don't have any talent behind something, that's when it becomes fucked up. But yeah, I really like what's happening, and I like kind of being boots on the ground for it, I guess.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit. We can talk about the show that's coming up on the 13th, or we could talk
It's all
about
kind
the
of
album.
incorporated. We
or-
can start wherever.
Let's start with the show, and we'll roll into the album. So what's happening on the 13th?
So we have our first ever Indie Whims show. It has a Galentine's themed celebration of friendship and creativity. Basically, it's a space for introverts who want to get out and socialize and make new friends. It's very tactile. We're going to have coloring sheets and crafts that you can purchase for like a very low price. We have designed coloring sheets and everything, but the main event is the musicians that are going to be there, which are myself, Areli and Shannon Taya. We're all doing original music. I'm going to be performing my new music at the event because it's a very loving, soft album, and I thought it was the perfect event to debut it at. And it's going to be so much fun that you don't have to pay to enter. It's at September's 2 in Albany, so it's like just out of the city, so there's parking, so you don't have to like worry.
As I get older, that's always like the first fucking question whenever it's a place I'm not familiar with. Oh, where is that? Is there parking? 'Cause if there's not, I may not.
I found that it was the biggest draw. That's why I make sure to say it. I'm like, yes, there is a big parking lot.
Yeah, that's perfect.
We have like a photo booth that I designed these big floral arrangements to go across the top of it. It's very cute, very whimsy. We are going to have some raffles. We're raffling off a flower bouquet and merch. There's really good drinks and food there. I could go on and on. It's going to be so much fun.
And so how did that idea come about? Like, because I love the idea of melding music with something else.
Yeah. So it was definitely a team effort to put the whole concept together. But where it started was as around the time that we had done our first interview, I was going around and trying to make friends in the community, other artists, and I was getting coffee with a bunch of people and, trying to gauge. It's like, when you get a new job and you're like, tell me the tea. Like, what's going on?
Right.
Like, I love to know what people's grievances are, to know where my place is, like how I can benefit the people that are here. And as I was getting coffee with these different people and finding out like what needed to be improved, what people were looking for, we found that it was that people were feeling very isolated and were having a hard time finding spaces that felt safe for people who were not as conventional as the ones that you might see in typical bars and clubs in the area.
And I mean, that's also something, that a lot of the gathering and myself, I'm just a over the hill, I guess you could say. I'm in my 50s or whatever. So like, but booze is the central key to a lot of social events.
Mm-hmm.
And if that's not something that somebody is comfortable with, or because a lot of people don't like to drink in front of even other people because they're like, I get a little silly and I don't want, so like to have just something else.
Yeah, that
to
was
it.
another aspect of it too.
Yeah.
We were doing it a little earlier in the night, because we don't want to compete with anyone else. Like we wanted it to be in an entirely different thing that fit into the puzzle of what happens in the arts community. So it runs from 7 to 9, which is pretty much before any event starts, and we wanted it to be so interactive and tactile so that people who, like myself, who don't go out to drink and party can go somewhere earlier in the night, that by the time they're done and can go home and go the fuck to sleep if they
And I mean,
want
not to say that you can't
Or you can
have
go out the
drinks
next
while
day.
you're doing
Yeah,
that, because
yeah.
that's also a thing. But to have that option,
Yes.
and just like places having like mocktails.
Yeah,
now.
and
Like,
we have a drink
love
menu
it.
that I'm so oh God, there's so many layers to it. I again, this is a whole team effort. We have 6 or 7 of us, Erica Rose, Nocturne, Shannon, Taya, Areli, myself, and Hunter Frost have been meeting weekly since November, maybe, to put this together. So after I was getting coffee with people, I went to Shannon because she's such a wonderful organizer. And I was like, if I could trust anyone to judge people's characters and figure out who we wanted to be a part of this, to like start it up and get the gears rolling. And I knew Shannon was going to be the perfect person for that. So we all, her and I pulled together a list of people and we went to her house for tea, and then we were drafting up all these ideas. Shannon came up with the name after we all did a word board of different like feelings about what we wanted the event to look like, and then we came up with Indie Whims. Yeah, I think I got a little off track here. Where were we?
I don't know. We were talking about a little bit about how having the other component, just rather than music and booze, or
Yeah.
like booze and X, having the crafts. Like it, I think you had said something like it'll bring out the. Would you say it's like a introverts?
It'll bring out it's for the introverts and people who want to make friends and who feel very isolated, people who want like something chill to do. Like I myself have a very short social battery, which is ironic as someone who's a performer, and like most of my like
it's getting shorter too. Like,
I wanted something that like we can converse, but it's not like, whoa, yeah,
right. Where are we going after this?
Yeah. Like there are people, we actually have table cards that are green and purple, so the people that like are there to socialize, and everything, the green tables are like more geared towards that, but then we'll have a few purple carded tables, which are people who like seriously don't want to like converse. They just kind of want to exist, and they can
They're
go
like, this is already a lot for me, so let me do
so
my
they can
thing.
go hang out at that table for
Yeah.
a little bit of a less social experience if they want that.
That's great, and like that's important. Like having a station, a place, like I don't want to use the word safe space, I guess, because just like every term, like
Yeah, I also
Republicans fucked it up.
Yeah, I'm also just like a little afraid right now that nowhere is a safe space,
Right,
but we are
right, right.
trying our
but
damnedest.
like
I
a
promise.
spot, like a spot where you can be like, this is
Yes.
me, this is who I am, this is where I am, and everybody here knows that and
Yes.
is cool with that.
Even the owners of the venue themselves, Brandy and her husband, please God, I hope his name is actually Kevin. Kevin is going to be our security at the door, checking IDs and making sure that everyone comes in is safe and people are behaving themselves. And Brandy really was so down for the idea of this to create. They do lots of different events at September's too, like Velvet Visions, etc. Me only knowing one other event that they do. There are other crafting nights that they do as well, but they're very geared towards creating these kinds of spaces at September's too, and providing opportunities like this to the community. And I feel very grateful that we're getting to partner with them on this.
That's awesome. So tell me again what the music lineup is.
The music lineup is, we're opening with Areli. Areli is classically trained as an opera singer, and she does her own music that is, it's hauntingly beautiful. Her voice is just so sublime and perfect, and she's going to knock your socks off. And then there's myself, who will be doing all of my music from All He Wants, my new record coming out on the day of the show. And then we will be having Shannon Taya and her band closing out the night.
And that's the Troop, right?
They actually dropped the name
They
The Troop.
did.
So The Troop is now Troop Productions. And the band is just Shannon Taya. And Troop Productions is now what is running these events. It is the sound behind it, which is Hunter Frost. I am Shannon is the CEO. She owns the LLC. I am creative director and director of communications. And then Nocturne is our business strategist. Erica Rose is our organizer of operations, operations manager, I'd say.
Sure.
And Areli is our creative consultant.
So out of everybody you just mentioned, only 2 people have not been on my podcast.
Really?
Yeah, Hunter and Areli are the only 2 that have not been
You
on the
have
show.
to have them. They're wonderful people.
Yeah, totally. And I'm adding them to my mental list. But that's great. I love that. The entrepreneurship and the coming, like, I didn't even realize that Erica was part of the circle.
Yes.
Like, you know.
Yeah,
like,
she's been really busy. So she's got her own stuff going on.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
She's been a big part of it. And she will be there. I believe she is emceeing the night
nice.
of the show.
Okay. Yeah, she's great too. Really good. And she just did a live album on EXT, right?
Yes, she
Yeah.
did do a live taping with Chris at WXT. She is so wonderful.
Yeah.
I love Erica.
Yeah, she's great. You remember her, right, Calvin? I have an Erica Rose trucker hat.
Do you
from,
really?
from-
Oh, I'm jealous. I'm
from
going to have to
her.
get one.
Yeah. Well, Calvin wants to go outside. You're gonna have to wait, bud. I'm in the middle of a podcast, pal. Like, you know, the world does not stop and start at your convenience, Calvin. It actually does. But so while I take a second to let Calvin outside, we should probably hear a song from the new album.
That would
and
be
then
awesome.
maybe when we come back from it, we'll talk about the new album.
Of course.
So what do we want to play first?
Let's start with Diamonds and Pearls. I've been performing this song for a couple of years now. It's really centered around the way that we perform when we first meet someone new that captivates us, the way that we strive to want to be the best person, to get that enamored look in people's eyes, and how it kind of tears us down. I'm very proud of this song. It really sticks in my brain. And yeah, I hope you like it.
All right, cool. Well, let's check out Diamonds and Pearls, Keegan James, and then we'll be right back.
Good until I saw you. I never dreamed of a better world until I met you. Watching you, spending all your time sipping bottles of wine, slip in a Cadillac that you don't even drive. Give your boy a kiss, make him feel reassured in a world where people only purchase diamonds and pearls. I read the book, Subjective to Good. I try to love that neighbor, though I don't think I should. Tell me to be patient and wait for the day that the sun will rise on up on a brand new day, where I'm spending all my time sipping bottles of wine, slip in a Cadillac that I don't even drive. Give my boy a kiss, make him feel reassured in a world where people only purchase diamonds and pearls.
That was Diamonds and Pearls, Keegan James. And so let's talk about the album, I guess, like as a whole. Like, was it something that you know, because you've put out like singles, you've been writing your own stuff, but was it I don't want to say a concept album like you were writing about a fucking wizard on a journey or something, but like, you know, like were you like, I have all these songs that kind of fit a theme-ish, or did you say, I'm going to do an album and then kind of figure out what would fit as you went?
Definitely the first one.
Yeah.
The thing that has stopped me from releasing a collection of songs is that I was like so insecure about whether or not the story would be cohesive. And then I started to see a lot of articles and interviews where artists talked more about the idea of defending their work, which sounds more aggressive than like what it actually means. So what I did was I had all of these songs in my files for years now. And when I wanted to release them as a collection, because, you know, I was kind of like getting a little tired of looking at them. I was like, I know I want them to be out in the world, but like where do they fit? So I took a couple days to listen through the music and go song by song, and kind of in the similar way that you would do like a thematic analysis of a story, I looked at all of the songs, looked at the lyrics, found where the repetition was, and then went from there to figure out what the story was. Like what was the story that even I wasn't admitting to myself. I was kind of investigating my own mind, looking through these songs, and then that's how I, you know, and that's my story that I came up with, and for me to justify why these songs fit together.
Right. I like changing why. Like, you know, the people have said, ask me a question about, like, you know, I've only written like a few songs or whatever, but people, oh, what's this song about? And I'll tell them something, and then like someone else would be like, oh, what's that song about? And I'll tell them something completely fucking different. And like, they're both true, I guess, for like lack of a better word. Like,
yeah, and that's something that's so special, I think, about this album, is that depending on who you are and the way that you look at it, the story changes. Because in the album, I look at things from a perspective of how I might have done something wrong, and I also look at it as a perspective of what someone did that was wrong to me. And that's why I went with the title All He Wants, is because, like, who is he?
oh, okay.
Is it me or is it you? And trying to find the relationship between those two statements or questions. And I wanted it to be kind of like a roadmap to closure for people, to, you know, use the music to analyze themselves and their patterns and what they've gone through to figure out who they are now and how they're better from it.
And I mean, do you think, you know, you said you want people to like to have closure, like through the songs. Like, do you feel not a responsibility, but I guess for lack of a better word, but like a responsibility to put out your advice in your music, or not?
You know, I don't know that I think that deeply when I am writing. Because there's a lot of times that I sit down and like, if I have to really feel the emotion in that moment to come up with it. My mind really has to be locked in to something that like I can't escape. Otherwise it doesn't make any sense. And so I don't know that there's an active mission that I'm on with the music. It's more just whatever my purpose is just kind of going to happen. And then once I see what's happening, then I'll be able to identify it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. It's almost like a confirmation bias on your own.
Yeah, I love
thoughts,
validation.
like, yeah.
So that's what I'm always looking for, is like the validation of what I'm doing right.
Right. That's good. And I like that you said, you know, like the ambiguity of, you know, the he. Is it you? Is it him? Is it someone else? Because like in the end, it kind of doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah.
Because like both things can be true.
Yes.
Like you can have done things wrong in a relationship, and you can have been wronged in a relationship,
Yeah.
and you can be mad about one, be mad at yourself about, like all these things are true. Everybody thinks it needs to be this black and white. Like what happened there? Oh, well, this person was totally fucking innocent and this person was the devil. And like, it's never gonna be like that.
Yeah.
So
Everything's gray.
Yeah. Yeah. And I like that you recognize that, it's not necessarily going to be a woe is me song, which I think a lot of songs, and again, not to shit on anybody's music, but a lot of songs are that. It's getting a hurt out, and it's very rarely saying, well, what did I do wrong?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And for some people, that's great, because if you need to get that sadness out, like there are people that when they put it out on the page or put it into the song and they release it to the world, it takes the weight off their shoulders. My pain comes in waves and echoes, and as the years go on, and the ripples of my pain and energy hit the edge of the pond, they also come back, and that's like a yearly cycle that I've noticed in myself. And so the music, writing it, doesn't really cure me of what I've been through. Right. And that's why I look at everything in such a gray aspect, because if I don't and I simply stick to like making myself a victim, it'll just send me into a depression, because it doesn't, I never really let it off my shoulders.
And plus, like, being an older person, I guess you could say that I am, you change so much. Yeah. Like, how old, you're what, early 20s?
I'm 23 now.
Okay,
I'll be 24 in a few months.
Yeah, so I'm 30 years older than you. Like, and I can tell you, like, who you are now is not who you're going to be at 33. It's not who you're going to be at 43. It's not who,
Yeah. And I figured that out early, because even people, if you ask anyone who's like known me for a while, they'll tell you that Keegan James becomes a different person every year.
Yeah, but that you're supposed to.
You are supposed to.
If you don't, then what the fuck is the purpose of any of this?
I get scared when I've known someone and like they have not changed. I'm like,
it's because it's weird.
I'm like, what? How are you still exactly the same?
You're getting new information every minute of every single fucking day.
And where is it going?
That doesn't change you, what is happening?
Yeah, I truly get scared.
You're like, yeah, that's a good point. Like, just like, how could you just see all this shit and be like, yeah, it's fine. Well, whatever. Yeah, no, you change a lot. So, like, I think having that perspective of there's going to be gray area and you're not saying this is how it is, it's black or it's white, and then in 20 years you're going to be like, nah, what was I thinking? You know what I mean, now you at least you can look back and be like, I was fucking smart when I was 23. Yeah.
Yeah, I have like 14 journals at home that I started back in 2021, and every once in a while I go back and I will like read through them to see like what I was going through at a certain time, especially like in that yearly cycle. If I'm experiencing like a feeling and I don't really know where it's coming from, I can go back to like what happened around that same time a year ago or a year prior to like see what's echoing in the chamber, which can be helpful. But then also sometimes I read what I was like writing and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, who are you? What are you thinking?
I mean, you kind of have to, though. Like, if you're not at least like a little bit embarrassed of, so I
love embarrassment.
I do too. Like,
it's such a good feeling to me.
That's what pushes me. Like, I want to get farther away from that. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes I literally will have, like, this is going to sound so fucking stupid, and I may just edit it, but I have, like, self-therapy sessions with myself where I'll literally just sit there and try to think of the most embarrassing shit that I've ever done. Just be, like, trying to think of the cringiest person I've ever been.
Yeah.
And I really try to, like, embrace what was that fucking moron thinking. And, like, it helps. You know what I mean? It helps me, like, need to leave that guy as far as I can in the past. You know what I mean?
I think it's also healthy to be like, to look at that. I will joke around and be like, all right, I'm going to go home and send myself into a little psychosis for a bit. And I'll go home and sit on a yoga mat and I will like visualize that person. But then I also will be like, one, what were you thinking? you're so special and I love you and everyone else should have loved you.
I had made an Instagram post earlier this week, and the caption on it was like, because I hadn't been posting for like a couple weeks, and the caption was like, I crawled my way out of the anxiety spiral, blah blah blah, and I'm like, the reality of it is that is 100% what has been going on. Like, it sounded like a joke, but I'm like, no, fucking for real. I've been having the most fucking crazy anxiety struggles of my fucking life.
Yeah.
And I literally just like took everything I could to be like, hey, look at me, everything's fucking happy. And then I like left again, but I'm like, I'm not joking. I'm like, yeah, it's wild. Like, and again, how can people still be the same? Like, even
especially right now,
even in the last fucking year.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like,
in the last 2 weeks
right,
alone, when I see
10
people
minutes.
and they're just like acting like everything's the same as it has been, I'm like, are you blind?
Yeah, I've been having like and again, I don't know if I mean, fuck it, people hear this or whatever, but like I've been having a real struggle being like, well, is any of this important?
Yes.
Like coming up to like award season, we're coming up to award season, and like I'm personally attached to like a couple possibilities of winning some awards,
and I hope you do.
And I'm like, I don't know if I fucking care.
Yeah.
Like, not only do I mean, I care. Like, I want to care.
He cares. Give him the award.
Give me the award. but I'm like, what does any like?
I get
what
ya.
are we fucking doing?
Like, am I
You
really
know
going to
what
wake
I
up
mean?
and see it on the wall and be like, wow, the world is healthy and great? I understand.
Yeah. So it's like been really weird. So I've been a fucking weirdo the last couple weeks. So
I get
I've been
it.
like, I don't want to put my face.
I won't lie. On the way here, I took the long way. I took like the back
love
roads
that.
on the east side of the river, and I was like, wow. Why? What am I even doing? Leaving my apartment. I'm at the gym, and I'm like, what am I even working on myself for?
Right.
Like, when there are people starving.
I fucking feel like that all the time, man.
Yeah.
And it sucks because
we have to keep going and keep.
we have to for our souls.
Yeah.
I think, and that's like you can't fight without a fucking soul.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And like, if we're all just going around soulless, like the dumb fucks that haven't changed in the last.
If we're
20
isolating
yeah.
ourselves and just thinking about the bad things that are happening,
Right.
it's not helpful.
So like, and Nick Coster from the band Gozer. I don't know if you've heard of Gozer. They're fucking a great fucking stoner metal band, and the guitar player is like one of the kindest human beings I've ever fucking met.
That's awesome.
And he like sent me a message and was just like, what you do is important because you are giving people even a slight distraction, and
Yes.
like what and that literally like it
is
fucked
very
me
important.
Like, it
I
fucked
love
me up.
podcasts. I listen to them every day, like, because I have a habit of FaceTiming people like back to back to back because I can't stand like sitting in my own thoughts right now. So podcasts have been helping me not annoy people. And so doing things like this and being able to listen to your podcast when I start my morning and feel like there are people in the room with me, and
Right.
knowing that life is still existing and trying to thrive, it is a very good thing to be happening. And I am very grateful that you do things like this.
Thank you. Yeah. No, I mean, I like I said, had some struggle where, and I don't think I was like, I don't know how this turned into a therapy session, but
My
I'm like,
conversations
lay back
always
on the
turn into
fucking
therapy
couch.
sessions.
All right, well,
I'm like, stop
Dr.
talking about
Keegan,
me.
No, but like it was hard, and I think. Like, I don't think there's any delusions of grandeur. Like, oh, we're fucking international stars.
Yeah.
And like, we're a small scene within a small scene within a small scene within a small scene. You know what I mean?
But it
like,
is also growing. So many things are happening at the same
absolutely.
time.
But like, it's important to, again, our souls.
Yes.
Like, we need the arts and we need the community, because without it, what would we even be fighting for?
Yeah.
you know?
And with that, I say, if you're not down to clown in that way, stay out.
Yeah.
Don't come into the room if you're not here with that
Yeah.
energy.
And I've been a little like on Instagram, and I've definitely lost like a couple dozen followers in the last couple weeks. But like,
I've been screaming
it's
online.
been like, and I haven't been screaming, and I'm not like I'm not like a doom and gloom person, you know what I mean? But like,
Would you say you're like half glass full?
yeah, I guess. But like, what is happening is fucking wild. And
Yeah.
if everybody just pretends it's not happening, then it's going to be too late.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And then we're
Yeah.
going to be, you know, like, I may not be the smartest man in the world, but I paid attention to fucking history class. You know, like I know
How
what's
did you not?
happening
There's a
here.
lot of people that I'm like, I'm truly wondering, like, did you take history? Like,
They're
did they
arresting-
teach you
They're
this?
arresting independent journalists.
Yep.
Like, that is not a fucking normal thing.
Yeah,
You know?
I could
like,
go on and on about the things that I've seen online, and even like from people I know who live out in these areas that
Right.
are affected. It's
It's
bad.
fucked. Yeah. It's fucked.
Anyway,
Anyway, your album. Let's
so my album is the most important thing happening on the planet right now.
I agree with you 100%. It will heal the world. So,
Bridging the gap.
all right. So you've got like all these songs that, you know, maybe weren't intended to fully go together, but kind of have like the same narrative.
Yeah.
At what point did you, I mean, start constructing the actual album? Like, did you start working with someone? I know you do. You were saying you do everything yourself.
I do
essentially
everything.
Everything.
Like front to back. I do
Mastering
independently. Mastering.
Really?
I will use like.
Wow.
I don't use AI in any of my stuff. Even when it comes to like mastering or any sort of like plugins. The only thing that I don't do, because I truly just I haven't like gotten it down to a T, is making drum beats. So I use Logic, and there is a stock plugin that has an algorithmic drummer that has like a pad, and you can customize it. And there are different, you know, named drummers with different personalities and styles in there. And I utilize that in a lot of my music, except for the slower ones that really have simple beats. But if I want something that is really driving the song, I will use that, just because I don't know any drummers. I'm actively looking for a drummer right now.
Drummers are, it's funny because they're abundant, but they're always usually tied to like fucking 7 bands.
Yes, they're
You
so
know what
busy.
I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, so I do everything myself, from visuals to instrumentation to composing to lyricism. Yeah, and it takes a while.
Yeah. And that's, you know, we were saying off air how those are two different skills. You know, most, or maybe not most, but a fair amount of skilled musicians aren't going to know shit about mixing and especially mastering. 'Cause,
Yeah.
like, mastering is something that I still don't get.
It's
like
hard.
It's,
There are so many factors to look into, especially don't even ask me about a fucking bus. Like, give me a break.
I swear sometimes people just say that to sound, you know, oh, well, we'll just bust
Bus it
this
through here and
do-
add it to
do
the
that.
input and the output, and then we'll add another bus. And
Well,
I'm like, okay,
What are you talking about? Yeah, but so
about a Van Gogh myself.
how did you learn all that?
I am a big tinkerer. I started with GarageBand when I was in middle school, when I like first got an iPhone, and I was always recording like with my wired headphones and making a cappella songs. And then when I got into high school, I got my MacBook, which I'm still using. I've had this MacBook for 11 years now. And I was learning Logic like very slowly because it's a heavy software. And then last year or the year before, don't remember, it all feels like the same month. I took a 3-month course at Blue Sky Recording Studios in Delmar. Lord, if I can remember the name of the man who was teaching the course. But it was like, he was very analog focused. So when he went into teaching us how buses and plugins and mastering worked, he did it all the like old way. And that helped me be able to like apply it into, because everything I do is MIDI. I only play keyboard and I sing. So if I have any other instruments and I don't know anyone who plays it, I have to resort to MIDI. So that's where I got a boost in my skills and being able to have a little bit more of a knowledgeable tinkering session to look at things and be like, I remember him talking about that, and being able to figure out how they fit together a little bit more. And yeah, that's how I got into it.
All right, that's interesting. So like composing, because I know a lot of people do, where I was like, I use the acoustic guitar. Do you start with like a simple, being that you're a keyboard player and can do the chords and the melodies, is that kind of where everything starts, is on the keys?
Sometimes it starts with a beat. Sometimes it starts with like a singular chord. Like I'll hear a singular chord and then be like, that's something. Sometimes if I'm not using my full 88 key and I'm using a smaller MIDI controller, I will start with a melody. It really just like, once I hear a minor thing that like strikes me like a needle right through like a lawn dart in the head, that's when I start building on it. I have a big folder in my computer of archives and potentials, and when I have an idea, it starts, and then I put it in the potential folder, and then if I feel like it's something I want to build on, it'll get moved into the priorities. If it's something that does not stick with me and I lose interest in it, goes to the archives.
So are you someone that works on a lot of different things at once, or are you like I got this idea, I'm going to work it to completion and then go on to the next idea? It kind of sounds like you have a lot of...
I work on like 10 things at once, and I just, because I get frustrated when I'm doing all this myself if I'm working on one thing and then I go like ear blind. And I stop noticing like differences, especially if I'm trying to master something or mix. So I will jump from project to project and do like little bits at a time, which takes longer. I won't lie.
And do you like switch hats, so to speak? Like when you're, you compose everything, and then you're a musician, Keegan. Once you're like mixing and mastering, can you like take out that ability to be like, oh, that's me playing that, and look at it objectively? Or are you kind of like a little more forgiving because it's yours?
I think when it comes to composing, I definitely have a different hat on. Like I'm not thinking about vocals at all when I am making the track behind it, because singing and playing piano at the same time is so fucking difficult. For me, at least.
Just doing the bass and the higher parts on the keyboard for me blows my mind.
It's
like,
very hard.
And then add singing it.
And I taught myself how to play piano.
Oh, wow.
And so when I'm making the accompaniment track and then putting everything on top of it, I'm not really thinking about the lyrics. I'll have scratch vocals that keep going in, but sometimes like I'll be recording vocals and keep changing things in that realm right up until I'm like ready to mix. And even sometimes after I've mixed it, I'll hear something and be like, oh shit, I didn't notice that, and then I'll go back and change it again.
It's at least got to be easy that you're your own subject. You don't have to call anybody back into the studio to do punch-ins or whatever.
And I feel like guilty when if I were to hire, and I've never done it, so maybe I'm wrong and I just have this fear in my head. But if I were to hire someone to do something for me, which this seems like hypocritical because I use the Logic plugin for the drums, but if I am hiring like a producer to do a track for me, I just feel like I wouldn't connect to it because I would feel like it doesn't belong to me, if that makes sense.
That does make sense. And like even using like Logic plugins, whatever, you're still controlling it. You're still in charge of what happens, and
I can separate it and like fully alter it afterwards. It's just kind of like a guide in a sense.
I mean, I used to use, we were talking how I'm doing an acoustic show next month or whatever, and I haven't fucking played an acoustic guitar and sang in front of people in years, maybe 10 years. And I have a little drum machine that I operate with my foot. And everybody gives me shit for it because it's not a real drummer.
It's not a real drummer.
Yeah, and I think I might actually bust it out and
you should.
and use it at the thing, because even though it's it's dynamic, I can change everything with my foot, but it helps with my confidence.
Yeah.
And I know it's a silly thing, but it helps with the confidence.
No, I think that's perfectly fine.
So I don't see anything wrong with using drum beats that aren't.
Thank you. I love
like-
validation. Thank
Yeah,
you.
no, I'm validating you because I went through it for years. Like, and as an audience, people would love it. They'd be like, "That was really cool." Like with it, But
Yeah.
any musician would be like, "Fuck that thing! It's not a real drummer." And be like,
It's
"Cool."
like what we were
Well, then
saying
maybe get
earlier.
me a real drummer to lug run a 5-piece
Yes.
fucking drum set and set up
And then
in
I
this
feel like I
little
can't
corner.
pay people. I'm
Right.
so fucking poor. How am I going to be like, can you carry all these drums
Yeah.
and play and practice? And I have no
Right.
money to give
I'd be
you.
like, no, just take this thing that's the size of a fucking guitar pedal that has a 1/4-inch output, and then I'll use that, and it'll be fine.
And like we were saying earlier about the combining the synthetic components with the core.
Right. It's accentuating the
honest-
talent.
Yes,
it's
it is.
not
It's-
hiding the talent.
Yes, it's like I couldn't come up with an analogy, but
Yeah, I get it. And with that, if you ever need any, because I've been playing the fuck out of some acoustic guitar lately, so if you need an acoustic guitar player or a bass player,
I will. Let
I'm
you
your
know.
guy.
I
Yeah.
thank you.
I got you. Because my actual instrument was always acoustic guitar until 4 years ago. I
Yeah.
switched to bass, and then so now I'm technically a multi-instrumentalist.
Multi-hyphenate Andy Skillen.
Yeah. All right. Well, cool. Well, we gotta kind of wrap things up because I guess we'll do breaking news on the podcast. But I'm gonna do an article on you for print for
Thank
Metroland
you. I'm
next
so
month,
excited.
and we're actually gonna do that interview since you're here. We're gonna do that now. So we'll wrap this up with another song off the album. So which one did we want to play?
So this next one's going to be the closing track of the album. It's called Nostalgia. It's really centered around peace and presence. I wanted to have a sonically happy ending to this record, and I think it really encapsulates what it feels like to be in a good place mentally and to just be at peace.
Nice. I love that. And what was it called?
Nostalgia.
All right. Well, cool. And the album comes out on the 13th.
February 13th,
Yeah.
same day as Indie Whims.
Yeah, so you're getting a sneak preview of this. So make sure to check that album out. But right now, let's check out Nostalgia, Keegan James. And we'll be right back to wrap it up.
Tastes like summer in the afternoon, stretching in the sun to a country tune. This is all I want, manifesting small. There's a rainbow shining in my head, making everything look better than a red sunset on a lake once new. In a time when I knew how to focus, how to smile, how to look in the mirror and tell myself it's gonna be alright. How to listen, how to talk, when to give myself a hug, 'cause there's no one there to give me love. There's a singer standing on the stage, thinking how it's super crazy how much things can change in a month or two. There's a boy looking in my eye, making sense of all the crazy shit that's in my mind. But the pain's gone now, as he's showing me now how to focus, how to smile, how to look in the mirror and tell myself it's gonna be alright. It's gonna be alright. Oh, and just listen how he talks, how he'll give me a hug, 'cause all I need is just a little love. Oh, hey, man, it'll be alright. Oh, it's gonna be alright.
Nostalgia with Keegan James. And Keegan, I want to thank you so much for coming out and doing this. It was really cool. Like, I was a little nervous again that the den was so cold, and I was like, it seems weird doing it in the living room, but
that's okay. I live in a
kinda worked
basement
out.
apartment, so it's fucking freezing.
Nice. Well, you get it. It's nice and cozy in
It's
here,
actually a
but
lot warmer here than it is at
But
home.
I'm not in the fucking den, and it's fucking freezing in there. But before we go, I want to give you a chance to say what I refer to as your gratitudes.
I'd like to thank the sun for rising. I'd like to thank you for the latte. It really is keeping me alive right now.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I'd like to thank my body for moving and being able, and for my car for getting here safe, and for everyone who's a part of the music community, everyone who's nice, not the mean bitches. Y'all
they can fuck
go.
off.
I want to thank the positive affirmations that I did in the car on the way here.
That works too.
And if you're a listener, someone especially who comes back to my music consistently, I want to thank you and say thank you. And I'm sorry, my brain's really getting fried. I think that's all I got. Thank you for having me.
Yeah,
Thank you
no
for
problem.
letting me chat about myself and doing a little impromptu therapy sesh. I love them.
Hell yeah. All right. So he is Keegan James. I am Andy Scullin. This is Unsigned518. I'll see you on the road. Unsigned518 is produced and hosted by me, Andy Scullin. New episodes are available every week wherever you stream podcasts. If you would like to help support the show, please like and subscribe wherever you are listening. Or you could buy me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/unsigned518. If you would like to advertise on the show, send me an email at unsigned518@gmail.com. And to be a guest on the show, reach out to me through Instagram at unsigned518. Take care of one another, and I'll see you next week.